All right, so I'm thinking here, what could Trump fans possibly expect from this summit in Singapore with North Korea? I'm wondering what their possible endgame is, what they expect his approach to diplomacy could actually produce. Think about the recent G7 meeting. What did he do? He met with the leaders of different world countries, different major powers in the country, all of which are actual allies. It's not like there were any antagonistic countries here. China's not a member of the G7. This is countries like Britain, like Canada, closest friends, France, Germany. And what did he do? He tears into them constantly. He loses in arguments with them, since they can counter any of his nonsensical claims. And then he takes to Twitter to spin everything on there. Oh yes, I had a great relationship. I rate my relationship 10 out of 10. Everyone loves me. They all know that their smiles tell me that they know that they've been getting away with something. It's total nonsense. He contradicts himself constantly. He lies constantly. He seems to play only to his fans and not in any way to, any norms of diplomacy or international relations. This is just not how it works. Consider also that he generally knows nothing about what he's talking about. Think about his comments on tariffs. So, on the one hand, he says, it would be nice if we had no tariffs at all, that we could wipe out all tariffs. And then he turns back around and argues that he's going to impose more tariffs, on our allies. And the whole point for him seems to be that we have a trade deficit, and he thinks that makes us the world's piggy bank somehow, that we're getting a bad deal. What it reveals is that he understands nothing about how the economy works. If we have a trade imbalance, if we have a trade deficit, that means that Americans are purchasing more abroad than people are purchasing from America. What that says is that Americans don't make things that people want enough, and that we have more money to spend. Our spending money on things does not necessarily mean our economy is hurt, or we're the world's piggy bank, or we're funding them in some way. It means that American consumers have money and American companies have money, and go figure, they spend that money buying the products that they actually want. So, what can tariffs accomplish? We can put tariffs on certain industrial goods like steel or aluminium, but what is the result of that? It's going to increase costs for American consumers. It's going to increase costs for American businesses who use those items. So it's going to hurt the American economy. We cannot produce steel or aluminium at the same prices that, say, India or China can. They can make it more cheaply. So American companies, like his own, buy it from overseas. This is just how things work. You can't slap a tariff on things like that and expect it's going to make things better. All it's going to do is result in retaliatory tariffs. They're going to raise tariffs on American goods, and we already don't sell enough. And he keeps thinking a trade war is somehow an easy thing to win, that, if they slap retaliatory tariffs, that means that they have a weaker hand, that'll help us. And that is fantastically stupid. We already sell less overseas. The Germans, for example, have an economy 1/6 the size of the American economy, and yet they sell more than we do. They export more than we do. Not by proportions, percentages, anything like that, in pure terms. They literally export more than we do. So if people put tariffs on American goods, what does that do? That increases the cost of buying something American, right? So you might buy it from somewhere else. If you buy it from somewhere else, that means the U.S. sells even less. What does that do? It increases our trade deficit. He does not understand in any way how trade wars work, and he does not understand that the U.S. is in the losing position in a trade war. We can't fight the Europeans or the Chinese this way. They will both win. And given that you have someone this incompetent, this uninformed about geopolitics and economics, blundering through every possible foreign negotiation he's had, what do you expect from an unscripted meeting with the North Korean dictator? They're not walking in with a plan already. They don't have a set agenda, with some kind of deal worked out. This is what you want to do generally. If you're meeting with an adversary, you've generally put some effort into what you're going to expect from it. Otherwise, you risk losing face. You risk having a face-to-face meeting. You don't get along well. You accomplish nothing. And it makes the power that walked in stronger look weaker. Trump is walking into a meeting with no clear agenda, other than we want North Korea to do everything that we tell them to do. Well, that's not how it works, and he doesn't seem to understand that. It's like. And you can see this in the comments, both from him on Twitter, as always, and from his administration, that they just expect that North Korea will do whatever we want them to do, that they'll accept whatever conditions we give them, and that'll be that. Well, that's nonsense. Why would they? They have to get something from it. They have to get something for it. And he's offering nothing so far. So with no plan, with no offer, with no proposal to improve relations, what purpose does this meeting even serve? That's what I don't understand. That's what I wish the Trumpists could explain to me, what possible reason there is to do this, other than, oh my goodness, he's the first person to sit down with a North Korean leader. Well, okay, there's a reason that people have not done it before, but whatever. Anyway, there's my rant for the day.